Okay, test. Be 8 to 9 questions. We're still debating whether there's a particular question we may want to remove because it's kind of repetitive and just for our timing purposes. But I did take the entire test with 9 questions, and I'm not gonna brag. I try to be humble about it. I did in 7.5 minutes. So I took the test 7 minutes and 30 seconds. But I'm fast. I have 30 plus years of experience. You guys have just like a few months experience. So my rule is times 6, just so you know. That's my rule. So I'm gonna do the same thing for the final exam. If I can do the final in 15 to 20 minutes, then you should be able to do about 90 minutes to an hour to 2 hours. So 7.5 minutes, 7.5 times 2 is 45 minutes. So you guys should be able to get this test done if you have standard time in 45 minutes with a few minutes to spare. If you have extended time course, if you have time and a half, fine, you get 75 minutes. If you have double time, you get 100 minutes. But it'll be 50-minute test. So we'll probably start it probably right when class starts, I guess. Actually, that might be good. We'll start right when class starts on Friday. And then at the last 10 minutes, I'll give you guys some final exam review stuff to do over the weekend. Because this weekend, you guys should start your final exam review. Don't wait till the night before, 2 nights before. Our final, by the way, is on Friday. No, sorry, Thursday, December 18th. Yes. So 2 weeks from tomorrow will be our final exam. So we're going to start that review next week. But during the last 10 minutes of class after the test, I'll give you guys the packets. So the test will be anywhere between 40 to 45 points, kind of in line with the previous test. Keep in mind that that quiz you guys took, that was pretty solid for most of you guys. That was 12 points that went into the test category. So it kind of already is part of this test if you think about it. Any calculator is allowed. Use any calculator you want, as usual. Formulas will be provided. So in red, it looks exactly like this. You'll get quad form. I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a quadratic equation. You can factor it, by the way. You don't have to use plot form, but if you feel like you want to, go for it. I don't care. But you have it. I'm going to ask you to find distance between 2 points. You don't have to use Pythagorean theorem. You can plot the points and draw the right triangle around. But you have it. I'm going to ask you to find area of a shape. I'm not going to say exactly what, but if I do ask you to find area of a parallelogram rectangle, great. Trapezoid, great. Triangle, great. But I'm going to ask you to find area. I am going to ask Pythagorean theorem. It's been a big part of this. I'm going to ask that. It's right there. The two legs and hypotenuse, right? I'm going to ask you to write the equation of a line. I'm going to ask that question. You need slope. So I give you the slope formula, so don't worry. But I don't give you slope intercept one. You need to know that. Y equals mx plus b. You guys should know that. Or point slope, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus epsilon. We know that. But
So like other teachers at like the different levels, do they give you the equations on the tests?
depends. Actually, I do my pre-cal honors. I do give them equations, yeah. Because I don't care about memorization. I care about application. How do you apply it? That's what matters to me. These here, you guys recognize what these are for? X,
Oh,
X, X with two.
yeah.
The special right triangles. Now, I don't tell you it's 45, 45, 36, 90. You have to recognize that. But I think hopefully you can see this is 45, 45, 90 because 45, 45 with the same angle. These have to be the same length, right? And so 36, 90 would be this one. And why is this 30? Because that's smaller than X root 2. Why is it 6? Because it's middle. Why is this 90? Because it's the biggest side, right? So you'll have these ratios, but it'll look like that, just you know. Okay, so that's the general details about the test. Other things you need to know as well that I'll probably just put off for the margins here, then I'll get into the finer details. You will be expected to round. It will be in the fine print, but I'm just going to tell you right now, round to 2 decimal places. Okay, so anything that requires rounding, you'll be told specifically in the problem itself, but just in general, that's what I'm going to ask. If it's a rounding situation. But sometimes I don't ask for rounding. Sometimes I'll ask for an exact answer. If I ask for exact, do not give me a decimal. Or I guess you could if it's a fraction, if it's 7/2, find 3.5. But if it's for exact, that means I want a radical answer. And the radical has to be simplified also, just you know.
The first angle we just read out.
Of course, yeah, yeah. But like, for example, if I ask you like, what's the length of this side? And it's like, if it's like 4 root 2, don't do 4 root 2 in the calculator and then give me some like weird decimal, like 5.6, whatever. I think something like that. You have to say 4 root 2. Or let's say you get like root 20 as an answer. Don't say root 20. You have to pull, what do you pull out root 20 to make it simplified? So you make it 2 root 5. So give that to me, right? So I'm going to be very adamant about that. If you do miss that, you lose half points. So be careful about that. Also, what do I want to say? Hold on. Hold on. Now I'm like, oh, degree mode. Make sure your calculator's in degree mode. We're not going to do radians, so be mindful about that. That's for your calculator. And for radicals, no radicals in the bottom. So for some problems, you get a radical in the bottom. I don't want that. I'm going to be very clear about that on the test, but no. So for example, what if you get like 4 over root 3? What do you do?
Just read through them.
Yep, do root 3 until it's both top and bottom. And you write 4 root 3 over 3. Yeah, so just be mindful about that. Those are general things. So any question about the general stuff? We're good? Okay, cool. And let me save this as a screenshot, put it in Schoology. There we go. Okay, save the screenshot. All right, so now let's go into finer details. Finer details. I know so you guys care about. The outline pretty much says it all. And we'll go through the outline in a moment. But definitely expect SOHCAHTOA. There'll be some SOHCAHTOA questions, right? Meaning you have a missing side or missing angle. That was like the quiz, right? So you guys should be comfortable with that. 45, 45, 90. And 30, 60, 90. Triangles. So expect you to know that. Find area and perimeter of funny shapes. Well, I think I'm calling them funny. They make you laugh? Not really, right? They're actually kind of scary. Scary shapes, actually, is a better way of putting it. But what do you do to make it less scary or not so funny? How do you break it down? Like, for example, that's kind of funny. How do I break it down? Like that, right? So then you could figure out, oh, let's find this area. Let's find that area. Things like that. What else? Um, non-right triangles. That was like our last section. So an example of that could be like this here. So this is like 3. This is like 10. Just like say 50 degrees. How'd you find that area? What would you do? How can you find that area? Hmm?
Would
Well,
you like split it into right triangles?
Yep. Yep. The house. Excuse me. I saw for that red.
With cosine 50.
Sine.
Sine.
Yeah, sine 50 degrees is h over 3. Once it's
Isn't
all
edges? Well, isn't so? Oh yeah.
it's opposite, yeah. So things like that should be pretty straightforward. Let me see, it's a screenshot. Actually, I'll add another bullet point here. Distance between 2 points. Make sure you know that. Let's go in clear. Actually, let's do this. Also, you should be aware of what else? Um, right triangles, Pythagorean theorem. Solving for x. So what do you think you do about that one? Yeah, like fully. Very form intensive. A squared, b squared, c squared, x squared plus x plus 1 squared equals x plus 2 squared, right? So let's work it out. I mean, I know the answer is 3, 4, 5, by the way. It's really easy. But if I see the work, I want to see this, right? Now, one thing I don't want you doing. Okay, well, what would I do? How would I do this algebraically? Tell me. What would I do? Okay, let's do it. How do you simplify the x plus 1 squared, guys? Yeah, or you FOIL it. Yeah. Now, what some students will do, I see this every year. I mean, believe me, I see some pre-calculus. Have some students will do this. They'll look and say, yeah, square the x and 2 is x squared plus 4. Yeah, square the x1 is x squared plus 1. Why is this bad? This is horrible. Why is this terrible? Because you didn't FOIL, right? You squared x1 separately. Let me ask you this question. If you saw 2 plus 3 squared, what would that be? Why? You're right, correct. Why? Yeah, totally. You're following PEMDAS, right? That's the overarching principle. Okay. But then you're telling me that, oh, I could just square the x1 separately, x and 2 separately. So I can do the same thing over here. Is that true? 4 plus 9? One of the two has to be wrong, right? Either the first or second one. Which one's correct? You got to go with the main principle. PEMDAS. We have these principles. We have to obey them, right? That's that's wrong. We know that's wrong. We know not to do that. So don't do that for this stuff here. Make sure you FOIL x plus 1 with itself. So it's plus 2x and plus 4x. And if you clean it up, those cancel. You get x squared minus 2x minus 3. You solve, you get x minus 3, x plus 1. So you have to show me all that worked, right? Now, you get two answers. Sometimes they both could be valid. Sometimes one's invalid. I could make it where both are invalid. I could do that too. But one is valid, one's not valid. Which one's okay, which one's not okay?
The positive is a.
Yeah, because you can't have negative side, right? Or zero side. That's weird, right? We can't do that. So negative one's not okay. Even though it satisfies the equation, physically, this is now you're connecting the algebraic to the geometric, right? That's what I care about. How do you connect the algebraic to the geometric? That's algebraic. That's geometric. Geometrically, that makes no sense. That makes more sense to geometrically, right? So I'm asking for that too. Okay. What else am I going to ask? And I'm going to show you problems like this in the study guide in a moment. Oh, word problems. And by the way, some of these bullet points might be repeated. Like I might ask like multiple questions. There's only one word problem. And the word problem is just like when we went outside to the football field. Clinometer slash angle of elevation or depression. Okay. Correct. So that's essentially the test. Okay, let me save this. Okay, now let me show you where in the study guide problems that I think are good for you guys. So now how to prepare, right? So now you know what to expect. I've been as transparent as I can be, right? Without compromising the integrity of the exam. Let's talk about preparation. So let's see here. You guys want to see the actual copy of the test? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Here we go. Just kidding. Okay. This is the outline. Did I say there's a word problem? Yeah. You have to make a diagram and draw a right triangle, solve the stuff. Did I say that they'll be missing sides or angles using, trig? Yes, I did say that. So second, third bullet points talk about that. Use a tangent ratio. Yeah, I'm not really going to ask that question. I mean, it's more trig stuff, I guess. It's not really anything unique. But 50, 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90, 100%, I'm going to ask that. Pythagorean triples, finding side measurements, like with the x plus 1, x plus 2, I just did that right now. Yes, I'm going to ask that. Finding area perimeter of complex shapes, funny shapes, I just said that, right? Anything that involves a quadratic, yes, I already just said that. So I would definitely go through these problems in CPM if you want kind of like a drill and kill, like go through these problems. You have the CPM textbook. Then these problems themselves are good. I mean, all these problems are good, by the way. Nothing's like a terrible problem to do, but things I'm going to strongly emphasize is what I'm circling right now. You are going to see a problem like number 2. It's going to look almost exactly like this, different numbers. In fact, actually, it's the first question on the test. That's the first question. Just different numbers. Okay. So you're not gonna be surprised. See that? Practice it. You can just do that. That's also on the test. Because I just told you, right? Solve for missing sides. Use the Pythagorean theorem. You're gonna see that. The one on the test is a little more challenging than this one. I would actually try the second scenario. The second scenario, you just replace this with x minus 2. Replace this with x minus 1. Or replace that with x. That'd be the second scenario. That's a little better, I think. You're not going to see 4 on the test. I'm not going to ask this question, but is this going to be baked into this question? Yeah. We have to use this skill for this question. Yes, we do. This is just to help you with the skill of solving quadratic equations. That's what the point of number 4 is about. So make sure you're comfortable with that. Definitely I'm asking this. And that's actually the second question on the test. 74. So be ready for that. This is gonna be part of a bigger problem. Remember I told you about the funny shapes? Yeah, this will be like there'll be like a right triangle in the funny shape. You have these Pythagorean things just to build a skill. So these are more indirect. The ones I'm not circling, they're still good. They're just more indirect. They're not gonna look exactly. I'm not gonna see a problem exactly like that, but it's gonna be part of a bigger problem. Just so you know. Yeah, kind of. This is also you're not gonna see a problem exactly, but it's gonna be part of a bigger problem again, like this one here, number 5. And like it was number 6, which is part of a bigger problem. Definitely gonna see this. Because I did say non-right triangle and find the area or perimeter. You have to use some trig to get the height. You cross off. I'm not asking that. I mean, you should know how to do tangent, but I'm not asking that question. You can cross it off if you want. I'm not asking 9 either, but you should know this because that's a mistake people will make. People will think that's true. We just talk about that. It's not true. right? If I'm putting 2 and 3, I got to add the 2. Now, unfortunately, X and Y are not like terms. Then fine, what do you do instead? You FOIL. So what's that supposed to be instead? So this is false, clearly. Yeah, that's false. It should be x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. Correct. This one, hell yes. We are definitely going to ask that question. I actually put this near the end of the test because I know this will slow people down. So there should be time for that. If you want to start, if you can. Practice that today. Ask questions. Just the answer key. Did I give you guys the answer key?
Yeah.
Yeah. We need more, have more. But yeah, you have that. What else? Yes. These are funny shapes. This one's too easy. The beans here better. Definitely this one. The length. This is formula. So as you can see here, you are getting a taste of what the test looks like, right? If you want, like everything I've circled, if you want to treat it like a practice test, go for it. Delta math, you have access to that too. I'll do delta math also. Do delta math. So you have 3 things. You have this, delta math, and the CPM problems in the outline. 11 is another word problem. Very similar to the previous one. Just like the Seattle problem. I'm not going to ask this one. Still good practice. Because Pythagorean theorem. So yeah. Yes, here. Both, all these. These are non-right triangles. And what should you do? What's our approach? Every time, what do? You drop the altitude. Every time. And use some trig. Let's be close to the end of the test. Now things just get repetitive at this point. I mean, yeah, that's still good. That's more like the first question of the test. This is good to do. I'm not going to really ask this because I'm going to ask more of a clinometer question. You cross this one. I'm not asking this. This is good too. Exact form. This is the 30, 60, 90 stuff that I'm going to ask. So it's not as much writing. Like proofs, similarity, that was the last test. We're not doing that here. This is very formulaic. Yes, these are all good. Again, this is just more repetitive than anything else. And likewise here. This is more like the first question. First question would be like this. This is good too. Distance, slope. I care about those a lot. I still care about the other ones also. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, really simple. 3 negative 4. 7, 2. connect it. So I want the link to the blue line. How do I get the link to the blue line? I could just do this, right? Oh, geez. So how far is it? How long is the horizontal leg? Yeah, I messed up. Let me try a little better. How long is the horizontal leg?
4,
How long is the vertical leg?
6,
And Pythagot, right? You get 16 plus 36. You root it. Now, if you give me a decimal answer, you'll lose a half point. If you lose root 52, you'll lose a half point. What do I want to see? I want to see 2 root 13. How did I get that? I divide 52 by 4. You have a calculator, by the way. A graphing calculator if you need to use it. Just do 52 divided by a perfect square. It's divisible by 4. Great. 13 is a prime number. Leave it alone. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a little tougher. And 14 is a little tougher also. Um, these are good to do. Just these are a bit too tough. So don't lose sleep. I can't do 13, I can do 14. Don't worry about it. But it's just good to do. Market?
So the word how would I think like like also the ones?
It's going to be more like the clinometer one. Yeah, angle of elevation depression, but like the moving out to the football field. And here's drill and kill. More of the same stuff from the quiz and the first question. The answers are here. And you have the other answers in a separate document. So anyway, you guys have plenty of time to practice. I talked enough. So get to work. Again, I'm going to try to be here at 7:30 on Friday, so we show up early because there's no office hours, unfortunately, between D and E. And then for those who have extended time, just you'll do the first 6 questions or first 5 questions, so like the first 2/3 during E period, and then you're going to do the other part, the second part, 25 minutes during lunch or after school, or you could start it before school on Friday and do the other 25 minutes during E period. But your test can be broken up if you have extended time, simply because we don't have that buffer before and after E period. Unfortunately, it's just we're that really weird spot that we're in. So just keep that in mind if you have extended time. I'm going to send an email out to the extended time since in just a moment, just specifying how to take the test because it will be broken into 2 parts. And that's that. I think that's all I need to say about tests. So hopefully you guys got all the information you need. I'll stop the recording.